Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you for giving me the chance to speak about soil health. My goal here is to evolve the way we look at soil. It's not about changing, it's about evolving. And especially after the great introduction that we had, it's going to be extremely easy because we are going to talk about soil health and the role it has in agriculture. But first, let me just share some parts of the journey that I've done as entrepreneur because I think this is relevant. Biome Makers is a company that I started back in 2015 together with my childhood friend, Alberto Acedo. We're originally from Spain, but we decided to go to US to launch this company because we were obsessed on developing a technology that could serve agriculture by connecting the soil to the decision-making mechanism. And that was very difficult by that time in Europe because no investing mechanism, market was not ready. And we also found a really good partner, which was the genetic giant Illumina. And we joined the corporate accelerator program that they have. They just picked 3 companies. We were the first non-American company selected by them. But today, I'm proud to say that Biome Makers is the global leader providing soil health analytics. This is extremely interesting because we are now working in over 190 different crops. We have labs, well, in different locations, and we have developed the largest database available with references on soil microbiomes. And I'll explain later a little bit why soil microbiome, but actually, Christopher already did a great job introducing the role of the microbes in the soil. So let's go to the topic. We are fully aware of the 2 challenges that we are facing as humans because we have already showed them. The climate crisis, and we have to feed a growing population. That's clear. But what are the challenges that agriculture is facing? Let me just give you some facts. So 95% of our food comes directly or indirectly from the soil. This is a lot. And in the last 40 years, we've lost 1/3 of the arable soil, mainly because the way we farm. And previously, we were hearing about the Hagenbosch process to develop fertilizers. So that was great to increase the yield, but on the other hand, it was not very good to preserve the natural fertility of the soil. As Gonzalo was saying, we have increased slightly the land, the available land for agriculture. So imagine what happened in the last 40 years, that we were recovering land from probably forests and other places where were supposed to be natural and wild. Luckily, today it's not possible to do it, so we have to play with the assets we have. And we have at least to preserve the soils we have and hopefully restore the fertility of the soil that we lost. And that's possible. At the same time, agriculture spends a lot of money in inputs. So every year in the US, for instance, they spend $40 billion just on inputs. And still 30% of the crop value is lost because of different biological problems. And if we connect this to the efficiency rate of fertilizers, which is around 30%, so imagine you throw a pound of agrochemicals into the soil, only 30% will get into the plant. That's very low. Most of the rest will go to the atmosphere as oxide nitrate or other components that are going to be polluting and speeding up the degradation of or the climate crisis. So these are the problems, the challenges that we are facing, but luckily there are solutions, and there are solutions that are happening. And this is what we want, to see, to scope different techniques, different activities, different opportunities that we can use in order to restore that. Regenerative agriculture is a big movement, and this is something that, at the end of the day, it relies on 4 concepts. First, soil is the central platform of everything that is happening in the field. And keep in mind, this is an ecosystem, so the system connected to all the ecological processes happening. This is what is important. At the same time, regenerative agriculture talks about the holistic approach. It's not just about the plants and the soil. It's about everything that is on the field, from insects, birds, microbes, plants. Everything could be in symbiosis and could be beneficial, because profitability is another element. Where some people question the yield, but at the end of the day, what is clear is that regenerative agriculture pursues profitability for farmers, and this is what is extremely important. And the fourth element, the fourth factor, is technology. The farmers using regenerative agriculture techniques are obsessed with data, with generating data technologies to monitor everything that is happening and learning in the process. And this is great. If you want to know more about it, there is this documental, Kiss the Ground, available in Netflix. And the second part of the Kiss the Ground documental is Common Ground, that is available in some cinemas in US. But it probably will come to Netflix by next year. So, coming back to the topic, soil health. What is soil health? No? Well, according to the USDA, only living things can be healthy. So when we talk about soil health, we have to look at the living part of the soil. And the living part of the soil are the microbes. There are billions of cells, millions of species that are populating our soils. It's the most biodiverse media that we can find on Earth, the soil. So it's a reliable bioindicator, biomarker. Why? Because it's sensible to everything that is happening in the field, but at the same time, it plays a crucial role on the plant growth. Now, we were speaking previously about the mobilization of nutrients and so on, so that's one of the roles. So what we need to do is to first know who is there, and second, and more important, what they do. That's what is impacting us as people, the farmers, in order to make the process as efficient as possible. So this is about biodiversity, and it's about functionality. And this is how we should understand soil health, okay? At Biome Makers, we've developed a technology that relies on DNA sequencing to profile the whole spectrum of microbes, bacteria, and fungal species. Both are important in order to understand what is happening in the field, in the soil. We digitalize the biology of the soil, but that's not enough. We have to go beyond. We have to understand what is the structure of the community and what are the potential functions, the ecological services, as some people call, that this community can provide to the farmers. And this is what we do. But what is more important, just providing this might not be enough, because the agronomists, who are the doctors in the field, they need to get something that is actionable. So we have to provide this in a digital way, in a format that makes sense. And what they are going to do with this? First, test the different practices, the different inputs that they are using in the field. This is how you know if those applications, those practices, are impacting positively or negatively to the soil. And also, there is a very interesting use, especially if we think about the food supply chain, which is, can we connect what happened in the field to the food, but not based on certification, label, checklists, but based on science? Well, that's possible. That's one of the uses that we do. We can, by looking at the soil, we can rate that soil according to the structure of the community. And then, well, we've seen the correlation across the different practices and the different levels that we have, where A++ will be a forest, completely wild, and a D will be a field that has been very intensively farmed in a way that probably we're destroying, and this is not sustainable. And this is what we need, because if we keep destroying soil, it's going to go away. 30% of the crop value I mentioned before is waste because of biological problems. Imagine bringing back this 30%. That would solve automatically the need of feeding the population. 30% is a lot of food that we're losing because of that. So the science behind that has been demonstrated. This is needed, because otherwise credibility is not going to be there. And here we present, just for you, it's very visual. I really like it. 3 ways of managing soil, or the field. The conventional will be applying all kind of inputs. We'll have the organic, which are under certain rules, and biodynamic is kind of between the regenerative agriculture and, well, people who is almost doing no intervention. If you see, there is some specialization in the community of microbes, but still, in the first case, in the conventional, there is too much specialization. If you take away one microbe there, the community is going to collapse. While in the biodynamic, if you take away a microbe because of whatever reason that might happen, the community is going to self-balance, and this is what is important. Well, we've done this across all our database, and just some insights in coffee, for instance. When you compare different countries, you start seeing differences, and in the same country, different management in the field. No? You see, for instance, in Colombia, the third from the bottom, and Guatemala, the organic growers are showing somewhere there, and then you start balancing them. If we compare with other crops, then we have, well, what is the crop where we have to put as much, as a lot of efforts to keep the crop nice? Strawberries. Strawberries are very intense, but still you see like 2 peaks, which are the conventional strawberry fields, and then the ones certified as organic. So we really see that certain practices have an impact into the soil. And this is what is meaningful at the end of the day. No? Provide meaningful information to growers, and to consumers, and help growers to really manage the soil in a way that we make their operations profitable and sustainable, not just from the environmental point of view, but also from the financial point of view, because otherwise, well, we're going to be lagging on farmers, as we were mentioning before. My last, I always like to finish presentations saying that if we have better soil, we are going to have better food, and at the end of the day, we are going to have better lives. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much.